Kia ora, what's up, what's going on? Welcome to my channel. I'm going to show you how I case modded a Xbox 360 Slim. This is an RGH Xbox 360 Slim. It is done in the theme of Resident Evil. As you can see, it is work in progress, so it is far from finished. I used a combination of 3D printing, LEDs and acrylic sheet to get the look that I am after. So not only is the console modded, or RGH3, and not only does it have a case mod, it also has a custom boot as well. So the Xbox 360 logo has been removed and it has a 2-minute 20 intro video from the original Resident Evil movie. Let's get into this. So the tools I used for this project is solder, scissors, cutters, long nose pliers, PCB board cleaner, canal wire, and also some alligator clips to hold on to the canal wire while I'm soldering it. Also going to need some Q-tips, some screwdrivers, Captain tape as well to hold down the wiring on the motherboard, also solder flux, heat gun, also an airbrush with a compressor just to help cool down the acrylic, a rotary tool of some sorts and the bits that come with it, also double-sided tape, super strength, and don't forget your safety glasses and also gloves if you have some. As you can see here, I had previously cut these windows out on an earlier mod, but I decided to change my mind and go ahead and cut the whole entire thing out for this Resident Evil theme. So we grab the two wires together, bend the ends so the chuck and the drill can grab them, close it up, pull on the other end, make it nice and tight, and pull the trigger to twist them. Usually I would use red and black wire, but I have ran out of black, so I'm going to use red. This is called good wire management. Makes things look tidy. Now I'm going to go in with some solder on the LED RGB strip there. I'm going to tin the plus, the positive, and then I only want the red. So I'm just using two wires, so it'll be positive and negative. Positive will go on the positive, obviously, and the negative will go on the red, or the R. Even though this is an RGB and you can change its colors with a remote, I'm only just going to use the one color, so it'll be fixed. So this is the acrylic sheet that I've been using for the windows on my consoles. This is around about 600 by 900 millimeters by 3 millimeters thick. This is quite cheap. I paid around $37 from Mitre 10. I mean, if you're local to Aotearoa, New Zealand, you can get this from Mitre 10 or Bunnings. It's a cheaper option to using your plexiglass, because that stuff can be quite expensive, or anything else for that matter, so it's a good deal. Now I'm going to drill out the holes for the air intake for the fan. don't have a press drill, hence why I'm using a hand drill. So there we go, that's all done. The only problem with doing it by hand is that it will be off, it won't be perfect. Now I'm going to remove the sticker on the back of the RGB LED, and I'm going to thread it through the fan unit. Just wrap it around, pretty straightforward. Now it's time for the light test. Going to power it up, turn the lights off and check it. It's looking pretty good. I'm going to drag the case over and put the fan unit on top of the heatsink. I'm going to place the outer chassis on top of the inner chassis, and then I'm going to place the acrylic window on top of that just to get a fair idea of what it's going to look like. And obviously it's going to look murky because of the protective sticker on both sides of the acrylic. Once that's removed, it'll be nice and clear, so no worries there. It's looking pretty good. On to the next step. The really cool thing about plexiglass or acrylic sheets is that if you attach a LED strip to one end, it will illuminate the whole entire thing. Yeah, it looks really cool. It's enhanced it heaps, so I'm going to go with this. First thing I 3D printed was the T-virus. I used clear PLA or translucent PLA for the virus itself. Then bought a tube, cut it to the same length, and then I 3D printed the end caps in silvery grey PLA. Unfortunately, I don't have footage of me 3D printing this, also putting in the LEDs due to the fact that something went wrong with my camera, unfortunately. But as you can see there, I have two blue LEDs on each end of the caps. Next I printed off the Nemesis, his head. This was a full facial head, so I sliced it down a bit. I don't want it protruding out of the case too far because it'll look ugly and bulky. So I did around just under half of his face. And PLA as well, as you can see, I did it in 1mm, so it's a draft. If this was for a customer, it would be 0.4mm to get the high detail, but this is just for me, just to take a look at it to see how it looks. So I'm pretty happy with that. There's a bit of paint, a couple of layers. So it's looking pretty nasty. Looks like a real zombie. Next, I 3D printed off the 4 keys. Just gave them a bit of a quick paint job, nothing special. Then I 3D printed in PLA Umbrella's famous logo. I just painted everything instead of printing it in different colors. Next was the holder for the T-Virus. It sits on top of the console. Next up is the liquor. Originally I was going to 3D print 2 of these, 2 different types, but in the end I ended up going with 1. So I did a mock-up assembly just to see what it would look like, and it's looking pretty cool. I threw in the Umbrella logo and the T-Virus on top, soldered in the wires and turned it on. So it's looking pretty cool. Originally I wanted the characters to stay inside or live inside the console, but I came up with a better concept of having the liquor burst its way out through the front of the case. So here we go with the next step. Over on the window there, I had just finished cutting the slots with a Dremel or rotary using a cutting bit all the way through it, because I'm going to heat this up with a heat gun and lift up the ends to make it look like it had been smashed through or pushed out. Heats up enough, I'm going to grab one of these ends and lift it up. I'm using the screwdriver just to simply lift it up a little bit so I can get a grip. After that I will just use my hands. You're probably wondering why I had removed the protective sticker on both sides of the acrylic. This is because I wasn't actually going to do this. I wasn't quite sure and I didn't want this to go to waste. Obviously if you're going to do this, you might want to leave these stickers on just to protect it from being scratched, hence why it is sitting on a cloth. This is the end result. As you can see, I've curved the pointy ends in just for safety reasons, because you never know when someone might fall over or get a close look with their eyes and get too close. So I did a mock-up again of everything just to take a look at it. I made the base for the liquor to stand on using the acrylic. Haven't glued in its tongue yet, so it's looking pretty good, not too bad. Later on I will add more lighting, maybe some white light around the areas where it's dark, just to highlight it a little bit. Also printed out the Stars logo and slapped on a bit of paint. Next I'm going to apply it to the hard drive. I'm going to use a bit of this super sticky double-sided tape. Do not use hot glue because it can get quite warm inside the actual console and you don't want this thing moving around or falling off. The same with anything, don't use hot glue inside. Use an alternative like the 3M super sticky double-sided tape. And then slide it into the holder. And of course the badge looks pretty hideous because I printed it in 1mm nozzle, not the 0.4, which will give you more detail. So I may do this again at a later stage. Now I'm going to go in with double-sided tape on the fan again and add the umbrella logo. Here we go, nice and snug. So you're probably wondering how I am wiring up all my LEDs. I am using this guide here that I obtained from Google. This key here will give you all the outlets for your power supply. So I'm using 12 volts, 11 and 8.1 volts on 3 to 5 volt LEDs. It doesn't really worry me. I want these things to be super bright. You know, I don't want them to be dull, otherwise it just, yeah, defeats the purpose. Now I'm going to go in with my solder flux, my soldering iron and my solder and hit all the points that I need for my LEDs. And earlier, as I mentioned, I don't have any black canal wire. I only have red at the time of making this video, so I had to mark or use a black marker to just mark one of the red wires to let me know which one was negative. You will want to use black and red to make it easier and quick for you to set everything up. Now I'm just going in and tidying up the wires, and then I'm going to apply some Captain tape to hold it down. That's it for this video. In the next one I'm going to add more LEDs. I'm going to do a bit of gluing and go over it a bit more and add some more details, even a vertical stand to make sure this thing doesn't tip over, and maybe a few other mods. If you learned something today, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Cheers.